I'll just add on to that by saying that if Johnny and I could wave a magic wand and say, you know, we're going to enact this policy because this policy is going to create X number of jobs where people are making X amount of money or higher, obviously we do that, but that, unfortunately, is not the function of government. That's the function of the private sector. And Gerald was talking with us earlier about the fact that it's going to be very, very difficult to ever bring back these manufacturing jobs that we've lost in this country. And he's exactly right. And the primary reason that it's going to be very difficult to bring those jobs back is because we can't compete with the Indonesians, with the folks in the Caribbean, with the Chinese and others when it comes to labor. And in some products, that's the most expensive component. But when we can compete with them, and what will allow us to have the private sector create those better paying jobs is to make sure that we're providing the right kind of education, the right kind of training, and the right kind of incentives to the private sector to allow technology to continue to develop in this country, and that we stay ahead of the technology curve, which we've always been able to do, particularly when it comes to our major competitors there in India and China. Unfortunately, particularly since 9/11, we are not getting all of those foreign students into this country who are being trained at our institutions and staying here. Now they are either staying where they are and getting an education, or with our visa program like this, they're not able to stay here. So there are certain policies that we can look at from that perspective, but the private sector is who we need to incentivize.
Next question. Yes, sir.
My name is George RHYNES, and I too am from Miles County. I'm a retired veteran from the United States Air Force during the Vietnam era. And my question is short, and I just would like to know what is the status of trying to eliminate this at-will to work state in the state of Georgia, wherein workers are fired for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all. What's the status of that? We want to know.
I think you're referring to the right to work laws.
At will to work, wherein?
Right, the right work.
But they call it two things, but the one I'm after is the one that I'm familiar with. I'm a community activist and the former president of NAACP, and the other organization. There's so many people in the state of Georgia that's complaining about the fact that they can be fired for good cause. I didn't know nothing about it until I retired. Good cause, bad cause, or for no cause. Or very few states in the United States that still have, I think about 15 or something like that. But Georgia's one of them. So what's the status of that?
Well, first of all, I ran a company for 22 years, and I hired a lot of people, and I had to let some people go, and every person that works in Georgia has a route through the Equal Opportunity Commission in Atlanta, the EEOC, to redress anybody who's fired without cause or for no reason. So we have an agency in place today in the state and in the United States. It's the Equal Opportunity Employment Laws called the EEOC Commission that does that. One thing I know a lot about, I've been before them a lot of times, but workers should have the right of redress before if they lose a job that they don't think was merited. And we have a system in place to do that.
Well, I accept that, and I believe that's the answer you would give me. But that is not the way it works. And a lot of us know, one who has been through it, and gone through the EEOC, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I just hope that a lot of people in the state of Georgia are not aware of it until that door slams in their face, and then they go to EEOC. And even the EEOC will tell you, you got a good case, especially when your company go against their own laws and their own guidelines. And they'll tell you, you got a good court case. But because you're in this at-will at work state, you don't have a case. Thank you.
Well, I hope you'll take one of our, and I have a lot of staff people here, so does Saxby, take a business card. If you have a worker that feels like they've had that treatment done, they haven't gotten their day in court through EEOC, you'll contact our office. We'll be more than happy to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next question. Yes, sir. Here comes a veteran, I think.
Yes. I'm Mayor also, Bill Kelly Tipton, and I have a very simple question. However, it's a real mess. Baseline budgeting. Our level of figuring all of our costs have gone up massively in the last 2.5 years. And yet we seem to be stuck on fencing everything for the future based on this sudden inflated value. We're not going to get anywhere until we back up to the lower level of baseline, because we're gagging on whatever level, you know, even if we come down some from the current baseline budget, we're still gagging at what, a 26, 27% increase in the last 2.5 years? We need, what's possible? Is there anything possible before another election in getting more conservatives in, or is there nothing possible until then?
Saxby's been doing yeoman's work with the Gang of Six, which I call the Group of Six. We don't voluntarily join gangs. So let me have the first answer on that one.
Well, let me just say, you hit on a major problem with trying to balance the federal budget. We're in a big debate now on whether or not we ought to cut $2 trillion from the deficit to $5 trillion, or one instance, the government's got a $9 trillion package. Well, you tell me how much you want to cut, and I guarantee I can find you a baseline, and I can develop a package that nobody will get hurt, and we'll cut whatever. It's because of this crazy way we do baseline budget. You're exactly right. We have seen in the last 2.5 years, it's in excess between 25 and 30%. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere in that range. And yet, today, we're looking at going forward, and we're putting spending caps in place in the current proposal that's been signed into law now. And even in our proposal, the Group of Six proposal, we tried to go back to 2008 levels. But obviously, the folks on the other side weren't willing to do that. We had to compromise on current levels, but freezing it at that baseline. Even with the current baseline, you got a January baseline, you've got a March baseline. We're going to have another baseline that comes out in August, and it's going to be higher. But the good thing about this package we just passed is that it freezes the baseline, or it caps the baseline, caps discretionary spending based on the March 2011 baseline.